the creme de la creme. But Season 3 promises to be even more exciting. We're bringing you even more fascinating guests, including the renowned farmer, Patrick Matadi. And to top it all off, our very own host, Ken Sharp, will be stepping out of the interviewer's chair and into the hot seat as he gets interviewed by a surprise guest host.
From the boss, we've been beaten, but we're not beaten yet. We can still rise.
Konapo, ipapo, Bazetian Prime, DSTV channel 294, the place to be.
Welcome back, gospel music lovers, to another season of My Ultimate Gospel 10. Your ultimate destination for soul-stirring melodies and inspirational stories.
Prepare me for a good day.
God is faithful because He's holy.
Wow, this is beautiful.
Each week, they'll be revealing their top 10 gospel songs. Meet Miss Becky K, the dynamic and passionate new presenter for Season 3.
If you are ready, let's get into My Ultimate Gospel 10.
Premiering soon, only on ZTN Prime. Stay tuned and let the music uplift your soul.
Catch exclusive interviews every weekday for candid, exciting, and thought-provoking conversations with your host, Erika Ndoro.
We talk about arts, we can talk about sports, we can even talk about politics, and sometimes we venture into a nice guitaristic play. The one story where you can't get out of your head. Wakatarisa munhu so Erika, like where you're sitting. Ndozongokona bata face so pasina munhu.
Wakasiya music yako yo Afro chakuti ndo music manje no yeMzimbabwe.
And I'm sure they're still saying the same thing now.
Yeah, so
Shona kana kuti chindevere kana mumwe mutauri muno muZimbabwe ndiwe iwewe ndiwo rupawo rwako ndicho chidadiso chako.
Catch me, Erika Ndoro, right here on ZTN Prime every single Monday at 7 p.m. whilst we get exclusive.
Good evening. You're watching Thursday's edition of Newsplus this evening. My name is Wadzanai Sansole, and these are your headlines tonight. Finance Minister Professor Mugabe presented the midterm budget review with indications that only 35% of the approved 2025 national budget was used, leaving 65% available for the remainder of the year. We shall look at how the Finance Minister has tried to provide some relief for both businesses and ordinary citizens. President Mnangagwa, who is also the SADC chairperson, has arrived in Kenya, where he is expected to drive the DRC peace process together with his Kenyan counterpart, President William Ruto. Our correspondent Africa Moyo is on standby with an update. Now tonight we shall look at latest efforts by authorities in Harare to tame recurring accidents along Seke Road. And in sports, Newsplus gives you highlights from the second day of the Chevrons Test match against New Zealand. A closer look at our top stories this evening. Minister of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion, Professor Mugabe, today presented the 2025 midterm budget and economic review from Parliament. Among the key highlights, only 35% of this year's budget has been utilized so far, and Treasury is proposing tax and levy reductions to ease the cost of doing business. Now, ZTN Business correspondent Iben Mabunda has more.
Now, 35% of the 2025 budget has been expended in the first 7 months of the year. The rest, 65%, will be spent in the last 5 months of 2025 with the priority on national security, social protection, as well as infrastructural projects.
Madam Speaker, ma'am, in terms of budget utilization up to June 2025, 35% of the appropriated and approved budget has been spent.
The biggest disbursements so far have gone toward social security, infrastructure projects, and security services, reflecting government's priorities in economic transformation and national stability.
Let me start with social services. Madam Speaker, ma'am, during the first 6 months of the year, government spent 26.6 billion towards the provision of social services under the following sectors: education at 16.1 billion ZIG, health at 7 billion ZIG, and social protection at 3.5 billion ZIG.
Treasury noted price and exchange rate stability, with annual inflation projected to decelerate from 95% in July owing to the base effect by year end. For the second time in years, no supplementary budget was tabled, a sign government says of better fiscal management. Zimbabwe's economy was rebased to $44.5 billion following a census that captured informal sector activity. This reduces the debt to GDP ratio from 60% to 46.5%, improving the country's fiscal outlook.
All along we've been under-measuring or mismeasuring the size of this economy. It's much bigger than we think. As a result, the revenue to GDP ratio declines to around 15% of GDP from historical levels of about 18%. Public debt to GDP in US dollar terms also declines to about 46.5%.
With subdued global growth and weakening demand, Treasury says Zimbabwe must create a business-friendly environment that supports domestic and foreign investment. One key area: lowering taxes and regulatory costs.
Meanwhile, government has with immediate effect begun the process of reviewing various regulatory fees and charges. In addition, the number of bureaucratic steps and compliance requirements will be drastically reduced, and we'll be making announcements as we go along.
ZIG collections, meanwhile, have fallen short of targets, while foreign currency revenue exceeded expectations, highlighting the importance of continued fiscal monetary policy coordination. To further ease the cost of doing business, government plans to sign an energy supply contract with the African Development Bank in September, aimed at improving electricity access and reliability. The government is also engaging development partners and the private sector to boost social spending in health, education, and social protection, which received 26.6 billion ZIG in the first half of the year. Now, the National Development Strategy 1 comes to a close at the close of 2025, paving the way for NDS 2. The question is, will these raft of measures advance Zimbabwe's macroeconomic agenda? Eben Mabunda, reporting for ZTN Prime in Mount Hampton.
We are now joined live by economic analyst Blessing Nyatanga to help us further unpack the midterm budget review. Good evening, Blessing. Thank you for joining us here on Newsplus. Tell me, what are some of the key takeaways from the budget review?
I think the key takeaways from the budget presented today is the issue of improving the business climate in the country. I think the minister put emphasis on ensuring that there will be enhanced production, there will be more manufacturing businesses who have more appropriate conditions for doing business. So I think the minister has pointed out positive aspects that are actually necessary for the ultimate growth of the economy.
Now, Blessing, the finance minister said in the second half of the year, focus will be on the ease of doing business. What are your thoughts on the cost of doing business in Zimbabwe in general?
I think the minister has also assured that they will review licenses and permits that most businesses have been grappling with. I think it has been clearly evident that many businesses have been grappling with exorbitant cost of doing business, and that has been translating through various licenses. I think you look at for dairy, I think you require about 26 permits, and for other businesses you require north of 20 licenses and 20 permits. And the fact that the minister has assured that these will be slashed and these will be reduced to ensure that the business climate is more favorable and you have more business prospects, because that is one incentive of actually encouraging that more businesses start, and it also promotes economic growth and ultimately improving the GDP.
Now, Blessing, seeing that the manufacturing sector is now the biggest contributor to the GDP, help us put this into perspective.
That is a very prudent issue. That is actually a very welcome idea. And you may have seen, even when the president visited Japan the other time, he met executives from Toyota, which is an automobile industry, and the whole idea is to actually improve manufacturing within the country. I think that also helps us to export more than we import, which is a position that we've always been yearning for as far as economic growth is concerned. So I think focusing on manufacturing is one way of boosting revenue for the country, and it's also one way of improving the balance of payments position, which is a position necessary for the strength of the currency as well, and for the GDP increase, as we have alluded before.
Thank you very much, Blessing, for sharing those insights, and have a good evening. Now, our correspondent Eben Mabunda managed to have a chat with the finance minister soon after his budget review presentation. Here's a snippet of that interview.
The indications that you made in the delivery, of course, of your midterm budget review, where, of course, the cost of doing business is concerned. You spoke about the subsector of agriculture. Would you want to hint on some of the reforms that perhaps business players within that regard could expect?
You know, the cost of doing business is a big issue for our private sector, where in some businesses you can only be profitable if you don't comply. You know, so you have to cheat government to remain in business. And the dairy sector, now that we're talking about agriculture, is one such sector where we found out that if dairy farmers complied with all our regulatory requirements as government, they would not make money, would not grow the sector. So it's important that we must remove and reduce some of these regulatory costs, and that's what we are doing. That's what His Excellency has tasked us to do.
Right, let's move on to the big one. 35% has been expended, and we are at the close of July. Why is that? 65%, and yet we've got just 5 months to go.
Oh, you know, the first half of the year, in fact, the first quarter of the year is always slow in terms of expenditure. First of all, the revenues come in slowly from January to March, but also in terms of spending, ministers take time to put their act together. It's normal. So they then gather speed in the second quarter. So third quarter, you'll find that there will be a catch-up quite a bit in terms of the burn rate for the budget. But also there's another issue. If you look at the structure of our revenue flows, we get the lowest percentage of revenue inflows in the first quarter, and the highest revenue inflows in the last quarter of the year. Can you imagine, between October and December, that's when we get most of our money. So ministers have no time to be able to deploy those resources. So we've been fine-tuning some strategies.
Now, one could say the midterm budget and economic review had the ordinary citizen in mind. The presentation had no new taxes, something that came as a huge relief for both businesses and households. Instead, the finance minister announced plans to revise the current tax regime and create a more conducive environment for doing business. Lawmakers and market watchers agree the minister played his cards well. Our business reporter Melissa Chatikobo gives us the details.
No surprises in the midterm budget and economic review presented by the finance minister was the biggest gift policymakers and market watchers said they could get. It shows stability and it shows that the economy is getting more predictable. For many Zimbabweans, it's been years of juggling costs, inflation, a weakening currency and taxes. But in his midterm review, Finance Minister Professor Mugabe offered some relief. There were no additional taxes, and a strong message of economic stability taking root. In past reviews, the fiscal pressure often translated to more levers. This time, focus was on relief, recovery, and reform. Chairperson of the Budget and Finance Committee, Dr. Energy Mutoli, said the budget reflects a shift. placing people first, especially in key areas like health and education.
The Minister is also giving us a breakdown of which MDAs have consumed the part of their budget. And we have seen that the education sector is topped, followed by agriculture and social security. So we are quite happy.
While citizens get breathing room, the productive sectors of the economy are also being looked after. The manufacturing sector, which contributed 15% to GDP, is now under spotlight. According to the Minister of Industry and Commerce, Mangaliso Ndlovu, this sets the tone for a growth-focused second half of the year.
The macroeconomic stability that the country has been experiencing, we are moving much closer to 12 months really of exchange rate stability, of inflation rate stability, and these are key tenets of any economic growth.
Parliament's Industry and Commerce Committee Chairperson Clement Chidua echoed this optimism, describing the budget focus as a strategic push for sustained economic expansion.
Given the stability that we are currently enjoying, there wasn't much that we were expecting in terms of changes. We have seen that the projections for economic growth is still at 6%, but going forward, given that he mentioned the issue of the rebasing of the GDP figure, I think there is need to relook.
Monetary Policy Committee member Persistence Gwanyanya says the numbers and the tone of the presentation point to one key message. Stability is not only expected to continue, a conducive industry for that view is already set.
What other gift can you give to the ordinary person than a stable environment, a growing economy today in Zimbabwe, especially given the background we're coming from as a country? So stability is seen as the special gift to everyone.
Concluding his presentation in Parliament, the Finance Minister assured Zimbabweans and policymakers that the stability that Zimbabwe is currently experiencing will continue. Reporting for ZTM Prime, I am Melissa Chatkubo in Mount Hampden.
Now here are some highlights from the midterm budget review. And coming up on Newsplus, President arrives in Kenya to drive DRC peace process.
Good evening and welcome to the greatest show on earth. This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go!
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
This is Newsplus and we're coming to you live from Harare. Now, SADC Chairperson, His Excellency President Emmerson Mnangagwa, has arrived in Kenya to meet his counterpart, President William Ruto, who is also the East African Community EAC Chairperson, to formally appoint a panel of 5 facilitators expected to find a durable solution to the conflict in Eastern DRC. Now, officials are optimistic that the triple efforts of SADC, EAC and the African Union will finally bring lasting peace in Eastern DRC. The President was received at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport by Foreign and Diaspora Affairs Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, Zimbabwe's ambassador to Kenya, Uganda and Somalia, Winpeg Moyo, and embassy staff. He is accompanied by Foreign Affairs and International Trade Minister Professor Eamon Murwira. Now, ZTN foreign correspondent joins us live from Nairobi to give us an update. Good evening, Africa. Give us an update on the President's visit to Kenya.
Good evening, viewers. In a significant diplomatic move, SADC chairperson, President Emerson Mnangagwa, has arrived here for crucial talks tomorrow aimed at finding a lasting solution to the Eastern DRC conflict. President Mnangagwa was welcomed at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport by Kenyan Prime Cabinet Secretary Mr. Musalia Mudavadi and Zimbabwe's Ambassador to Kenya, Winnipeg Moyo, and other cabinet officials. The President is tomorrow expected to meet Kenyan President Dr. William Ruto, who is also the East African Community chairperson, to formally appoint 5 facilitators who are tasked with bringing durable peace in Eastern DRC.
This meeting will involve the panel of 5 facilitators, namely former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo, former Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta, former Central African Republic President Catherine Samba-Panza, former Ethiopian President Sahle-Work Zewde, and former Botswana President Mokgweetsi Masisi. SADC Executive Secretary Elias Makosi said the blocs will do all they can to ensure peace in Eastern DRC. Now, to give us an overview of the place of the EAC and SADC in ensuring regional peace, we are joined live by Ranga Matairi, who is the Zim Papers Group political editor. Good evening, Ranga. Ranga, what significance does this joint SADC-EAC initiative hold for regional cooperation and conflict resolution in Eastern DRC?
I think the joint SADC-EAC summit is a crucial meeting in the pursuit of peace in the DRC. You will recall that the first inaugural joint summit took place on February 8, 2025. This was a huge milestone in terms of bringing the 2 regional bodies together. You also recall that it was at this summit that it was agreed to bring together the Luanda and the Nairobi process, which process had already been initiated to try and bring peace in the DRC. So this was a really marked milestone in terms of having a unified comprehensive framework in order to bring peace in the DRC. So this summit is a follow-up to the previous summit, joint summit, which was historical to bring the 2 bodies together. It is a follow-up because between 8 February 2025 and today, there has been a lot of development that have taken place in the DRC. So I think it is critical because at the last summit where the 2 regional bodies met, there was an agreement that the chiefs of defense must initiate a process of ensuring that there is peace or truce in the DRC. So there's a lot of reviewing that is going to take place, but fundamentally there is also going to be a comprehensive terms of reference for the senior facilitators that have already been appointed by the 2 regional bodies.
So Ranga, how does this initiative align with other similar peace arrangements that the USA and Qatar are undertaking?
The unfortunate thing is that while SADC and the EAC are most suited to deal with the situation in the DRC, given their historical experience and given the fact that they are geographical proximity to the DRC, and also given the fact that DRC is a member state of both the EAC and SADC. So I think the 2 regional bodies were most suited to deal with this issue. However, there are other players that have also gotten involved into the DRC issue, particularly the Qatar initiative and also the US initiatives. While this must be applauded, there is a chance that the 2 initiatives that are being undertaken by Qatar and the US might have some kind of disalignment with the one that is being initiated by SADC. However, all the 3 initiatives must be commended because if they are to lead to truce or if they are to lead to the silencing of guns, that will be a good progress in initiating peace and development. But I foresee at some stage where the three initiatives will merge into one with the involvement of both state actors and non-state actors.
Talk to me about the role you see President Mnangagwa playing as SADC chairperson in ensuring the success of Peace Initiative and how this might impact his legacy.
I think you will recall that SADC member states some SADC member states had troops in the DRC, and then it was agreed that there was need for withdrawal. The agreement to withdraw semi-DRC troops in the DRC was agreed upon the leadership of President Mnangagwa. Fundamentally, the kind of relative peace that we have in the DRC is as a result of the initiative that was undertaken by the SADC chairperson. Even the idea of holding a joint summit between the SADC and EAC, you will recall also that it was done by the leadership and initiative of President Mnangagwa and also President William Ruto of Kenya, who is currently the chairperson of the EAC. So there are a certain, tangible achievements that have been done under the leadership of President Mnangagwa, particularly in trying to bring the protagonist on the same table. So I'm hopeful that the initiative that has been started now will ultimately lead to the silencing of guns and ultimately lead to DRC for the first time experiencing peace.
Thank you and have a good evening. That was Rangamatare, Zim Paper's group political editor, talking about the DRC peace process. Now, in other news, Vice President Kembo Mohadi says government is dedicated to address regional inequality and push for accountability to facilitate economic growth. He was speaking at the official opening of the Monitoring and Evaluation Learning Week in Harare earlier today.
Vice President Mohadi says the government is committed to enhance youth and women empowerment and upscale government projects, including modernizing health facilities and school construction. He also hailed the devolution process, saying it is a vital tool in enhancing citizen participation.
Our commitment to mining and beneficiation, modernization of health facilities, school construction, youth and women empowerment programs, and our unwavering dedication to devolution reflect a government working for its people.
Vice President Mohadi reflected on signature projects that have been implemented by the government. These include the Bay Bridge Border Post modernization, Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport upgrade, and Harare Bay Bridge Road rehabilitation. He said the projects stand as visible testaments to the progress government is making. However, he called on stakeholders to also confront challenges with sincerity, especially issues such as political polarization and corruption.
Issues such as political polarization and corruption threaten to derail our progress. Let me reiterate that corruption is an enemy of development, and we must fight it relentlessly.
Chief Secretary in the Office of the President and Cabinet Martin Rushwaya believes monitoring and evaluation should not be about merely tracking activities. He said it should also be about transforming approach to developmental impact and citizen-centric service delivery. With over 6,600 projects having been completed under the Second Republic, government is expecting the evaluation process to commence.
The MEL week is occurring at a critical juncture when we are concluding National Development Strategy 1 and transiting to NDS 2. This is therefore a period to assess whether development planning processes have been supported effectively by MEL frameworks and have they matured to effectively assess the effect of programmatic interventions at outcome and impact level.
The United Nations encouraged the government to improve program effectiveness and address inequalities.
Zimbabwe needs to invest in strengthening its statistical system to accurately track progress across all the sustainable development goals. These include timely, inclusive, and actionable data, and from our experience with reliable data, government and stakeholders can identify problems at a very, very perennial stage, allocate resources effectively, and also demonstrate accountability.
The government continues to prioritize the enablement of these critical functions. The hope is that stakeholders will use this week as a launchpad for deepened cooperation, shared learning, and inclusive development as a strategic enabler of transformation and results-driven governance and sustainable development. For ZTM Prime, I am Sitachisiwe Gwaza in Harare.
Now, the Zimbabwe Republic Police, in collaboration with other stakeholders, launched a traffic safety awareness campaign along Seke Road today. The route is marred by frequent accidents, with a recent devastating one claiming 17 lives at Hunyani River Bridge. Our reporter Sharon Munjenjema has more details.
Barely a fortnight has passed since the devastating Hunyani Bridge accident claimed 17 lives. And yet, Seke Road has witnessed 4 more road accidents. The inexplicable string of tragedies has left many wondering if the road is cursed. In a bid to break the cycle of death, police, local authorities, church leaders and the Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe, among other stakeholders, have joined forces to launch a road safety campaign along the route.
We want to warn them that the long arm of the law is always going to come to them. Tinogara tingotaura chiti daitikawana mastiffer penalty evavo vanoita matraffic violators, so that pavanoitwa found wanting vanowanikwa vachiwana something, masentences are so restrictive, so that they will not get motivated kuti vadzoke kunokomita matraffic violators.
Cones and banners are placed on the road to signal motorists to slow down. As they stop, they are cautioned by traffic officers to reduce speed and observe traffic regulations.
One of our passengers akati muri kumhanya vamwe vemapassengers ngatisasapotei munhu ari kuti dhiraivha ngaamhanye aina ari kurambidza ngatidziuranei. Dhiraivha akati mota yangu ine pasi kuita mushe ndikufamba spidi shoma, musamukurudzire kuti mhanya zvakadaro munofa ndimi.
Lawlessness has become very rampant on the metropolitan province's roads. Some commuter transport drivers are often caught driving against traffic. The presence of police roadblocks has seemingly failed to stop this. So can awareness campaigns yield any results? A commuter association leader, Frederick Magura-Minga, says the campaign can impact some minds.
Definitely these exercises, they are mind changing. When you stop a driver, remind him of other accidents that have happened, how many lives we have lost. It's an exercise where the driver starts to take things so seriously. They are seeing us here as leaders, they are seeing the police, they are seeing all other stakeholders, and definitely something is ringing into their mind.
As the country heads towards August holidays, authorities are ramping up efforts to reduce road carnage by clamping down on errant drivers. The Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe has purchased breathalyzers to discourage drunk driving.
Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe has procured more than 150 breathalyzers for use during the Heroes and Defense Forces holidays. And going forward, is part of efforts to deal with drunken driving and the use of drugs by drivers. Breathalyzers are going to be a permanent feature on our roadblocks.
Concerns have also been raised that traffic offenders' fines and sentences are not as punitive.
Now, this awareness campaign serves as a sobering reminder of the importance of road safety. As the community continues to mourn lives lost, authorities are working tirelessly to prevent such tragedies from continuing to happen. For ZTN News, I'm Sharon Munjenjema, reporting from Seke Road.
Meanwhile, government has proposed the establishment of a dedicated bus lane along Seke Road, as well as an expansion of the road as part of curtailing continuous traffic accidents. This was revealed by Minister of Transport and Infrastructural Development, Felix Mona, during this week's post-cabinet briefing question and answer session. Minister Mona said there will be more lanes along the road. This follows the fatal road accident, which claimed 17 lives on July 22.
Also, our minister, in terms of Seke Road, what we are doing, we are going to be having a dedicated bus lane, and my team is seized now with that, and we are going to be widening the road again further, having more lanes, and that will be an expressway right up to Makoni section and straight up to 10 miles, and currently we are working on the toll gate, so you'll see the refurbishment of this road, and above all, the awareness through Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe for our drivers to exercise caution whenever they are navigating this road.
Now, in other news, Bulawayo City Council is planning to set up a waste-to-energy plant as it races to contain the current challenges faced by the city, as well as the challenges at the Richmond site landfill. Bulawayo City fathers toured Pomona in Harare today, and addressing journalists on the sidelines of the tour, Bulawayo City Council Deputy Mayor Councillor Edwin Ndlovu said this tour is crucial in addressing Bulawayo's current problems.
Yeah, in Bulawayo the situation is very dire in Bulawayo. I think you have seen in the media that the bush is always burning, and the people in neighboring suburbs like Kotoka are affected by the smoke and gases emanating from the dump site. So it is very, very important that we also adopt a model like this one.
Now, Pomona Waste Management Chief Executive Dilish Nguwaya said they will soon be ISO certified, and they are working that they comply with ISO regulations. Bulawayo City's familiarization tour at the Pomona plant provided critical insights to managing urban environments.
We are in the first stage. They are coming here to make sure every department is in compliance. So after that, we will follow what the people from ISO, what they want from Pomona. So we are following every step to make sure we get ISO certificate.
Now, with less than 2 weeks to go before the nation commemorates Heroes Day, Zimbabweans remember with fondness Sally Mugabe, the first national heroine to be buried at the National Heroes Acre in Harare.
Sally Mugabe, the first wife of the late former President Robert Mugabe, remains a figure of deep respect in Zimbabwe. Known affectionately as Mother of Zimbabwe or Amai, her legacy is one of compassion, strength and unwavering dedication to her nation. Sarah Francesca Hayfron was born on June 6, 1931 in the then Gold Coast, now Ghana, and demonstrated early on a commitment to education and social justice. She met Robert Mugabe while they were both teaching at Takoradi Teacher Training College in Ghana. This meeting laid the foundation for a partnership that would significantly impact Zimbabwe's history. The late former First Lady was a pillar of strength during Zimbabwe's liberation struggle. Sally Mugabe's role extended far beyond being a supportive spouse to her husband, Robert Mugabe, who was fighting for freedom. During the liberation struggle, she was a stalwart advocate, both within and outside the country. She endured immense personal hardship, including the separation from her husband during his imprisonment and the tragic loss of their son Namo Zenyika. Her resilience during these trying times earned her widespread admiration. Upon Zimbabwe's independence, Sally Mugabe dedicated herself to improving the lives of her fellow citizens. She championed causes related to women's rights, children's welfare, and healthcare, including being a patron of the Mutemwa Leprosy Center in Mutoko and establishing the Zimbabwe Child Survival Movement. She worked tirelessly to address social inequalities and promote national unity, and was known for her kindness and empathy. Sally Mugabe was a strong support for Robert Mugabe, especially during the hardship of the liberation struggle. Her legacy endures, serving as an inspiration for generations of Zimbabweans. Her dedication to social justice and her unwavering commitment to her people have cemented her place in the nation's history. Sally Mugabe died of kidney failure on 27 January 1992 and was interred at the National Heroes Acre in Harare, Zimbabwe.
Now, when Newsplus returns, we'll give you a story on how City of Harare operation nets 121 errant businesses.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go!
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
Welcome back, gospel music lovers, to another season of My Ultimate Gospel 10. Your ultimate destination for soul-stirring melodies and inspirational stories.
Prepare me for a good day.
God is faithful because He's holy.
Wow, this is beautiful. Each week, they'll be revealing their top 10 gospel songs. Meet Miss Becky K, the dynamic and passionate new presenter for Season 3.
If you are ready, let's get into My Ultimate Gospel 10.
Premiering soon, only on ZTN Prime. Stay tuned and let the music uplift your soul.
Captain Wally J is about to take you to boot camp.
It's the riveting science and tech show that keeps you up to date with the hottest gizmos on the block and revealing the illustrious and innovative visionaries in Zimbabwe. So much to see, you'll keep swiping.
This cherry red beauty is the Dairy Auto M7 mini electric car.
They've designed our brute force incubator board.
Look at what we've got here.
Solar powered scarecrow was part of the project that I was supposed to complete.
Catch Swipe every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. on ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294. Get the picture?
Thank you for staying tuned to Newsplus this Thursday evening. We now take a look at what's happening in the world of business. Now, the Bulawayo City Council hosted the Kaya Investment Conference in Harare as part of the efforts to showcase the city's 15 investment opportunities. The conference was organized by the City of Bulawayo for Bulawayo residents living in other areas. And speaking during the event, the Mayor of Bulawayo, Senator David Coulthard, said that the goal of the event is to create a platform for residents and stakeholders to participate in boosting the city's economy through revamping the industries, creating employment, and supporting the tourism sector. The city pledged to create an enabling environment for potential investors,
which we are not utilizing effectively. Let's take, for example, tourism. I have absolutely no doubt that Bulawayo and its environs are the most under-marketed aspect of tourism in our country. We have the city with its historical roots, with its deep and rich culture, with fabulous museums and art galleries and coffee shops and restaurants, and the exquisite Matobo Hills just south of the city, with unique attributes, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the largest concentration of rock art in the world, the highest concentration of leopard in the world. And yet Bulawayo as a tourist venue is totally undermarketed. How do we exploit that? How do we attract investors in the tourism?
Now, the Deputy Minister of Local Government, Public Works and National Housing, Albert Mavunga, hailed the city of Bulawayo for the initiative, indicating it aligns with the national vision of an upper middle class economy. He implored other cities to also emulate the city of Bulawayo to ensure the overall development of the country. Now, Mavunga urged the different stakeholders to partner with the city of Bulawayo to ensure that they open up channels, innovate and build partnerships that will unlock the untapped wealth of the city.
The local authority is indeed a critical
and sustainable contributor to the gross domestic product of our cities and our nation. I am proud to acknowledge the proactive initiatives of the city of Bulawayo, which has launched several programs aimed at transforming their city and enhancing service delivery. These include the Sports Economy Initiative, launched in February 2025, the Bulawayo Economic Development Conference, held in April 2025, and the City of Bulawayo Research and Innovation Seminar in May 2025. Additionally, the inaugural Diaspora Investment Conference, Kumbula Ekaya, exemplifies our commitment to harnessing the potential of our diaspora communities.
Now, the city of Harare says 121 businesses have been shut down so far in the central business district as Operation Restore Order intensifies. And according to the latest figures, 295 businesses have been inspected since the operation actually began. And council enforcement teams found widespread non-compliance, ranging from expired licenses to unauthorized structural changes. Now, out of these inspected, 79 buildings were operating without any form of license, and while 27 businesses had expired trading licenses. Now, municipal teams also disconnected water supplies at 18 premises, citing illegal connections and non-payment of bills. Task Force Chairperson Edgar Zehonye says the goal is to restore order and enforce safety standards and ensure all businesses actually operate within the law. Newsplus will be right back.
In a world where music transcends boundaries, where rhythm and melody unite the hearts of people, comes a show that celebrates the power of music like never before. Get ready to dive into a sonic journey that will leave you mesmerized and yearning for more. Welcome to the captivating world of Z Vibes. Vibe to it, baby.
Thank you for staying tuned to Newsplus. We now take a look at what's happening in entertainment. Now, veteran author, poet, and cultural activist Albert Nyati has been honored for his immense contribution in creating a society where culture is at the forefront through his unifying works. Being African, an organization that promotes and preserves diverse African cultures, recently honored Nyati in their project named 100 African Icon Series. Being African is a not-for-profit organization focusing on preserving and teaching African cultures to people of African descent and to all other people. Now, the Zimbabwe Music Rights Association, Zimura, has provided an incapacitation fee of $500 to Sungura music icon Nicholas Madzibaba Zakaria. The legendary artist recently appealed to the nation to pray for him as he battles health challenges. And known for his profound influence on the genre, the iconic musician's absence at a family show at Zebra Village recently triggered serious concerns among his fans. Now, Zimura Director of Information, Media and Publicity, Alexio G.C. Gwenzi, said the payment aims to assist with his medical bills as he faces health challenges that have prevented him from performing and supporting his family. And still on entertainment, award-winning musician Julian King has just released a new song entitled Wangu with a different feel to it. The United States-based Afropop exponent born Julian Kanombirira has recorded several chart toppers, and on this particular song he features Denilson Musekiwa and Kim and Tanaka, and says this new piece that's already getting a lot of views on YouTube is a celebration of love.
Hey,
You're my world. It's your favorite song, or it blessed and pretty. You're my favorite color.
That's it for entertainment, but still to come on Newsplus, Chevrons fight back on day 2 of first test against New Zealand.
Two fans, one game. One of them paid for quality, the other didn't. ZTM Prime now offers premium live Premier Soccer League matches behind a paywall. Skip the stress. Watch your team in high definition, uninterrupted and in real time. ZTM Prime are paywall matches because real fans watch live.
Blessing Mzarabani-led Zimbabwe's fight back on day 2 of the first test against New Zealand at Queen's Sports Club in Bulawayo. Mzarabani picked up 3 wickets and was supported by the Chevrons bowling unit, with Tanaka Chivanga contributing with 2 wickets, including the big wicket of the Black Caps' top scorer, Devon Conway, who had 88. Now, left arm seamer Newman Nyamuri was also the wickets, getting Derry Mitchell, who went for 80. Sikandar Raza, Sean Williams and Vincent Masekesa also picked up a wicket each, with the Black Caps all out for 307 in their first innings. At stumps, the Chevrons were 31 for 2 in the second innings, trailing New Zealand by 158 runs. Now play resumes at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Now moving on to football, Moors midfielder Abubakar Moffat is delighted to be back home after a 6-year stay in Spain. Moffat has set his sights on helping the punters achieve their goals and is working hard on fulfilling his childhood dream of getting a national team call-up. Tawanda Mtali gives us more.
For Aces Youth Soccer Academy graduate Abubakar Moffat, there's nothing as delightful as fulfilling his childhood dream of playing in the domestic top flight. Moffat returned home in June after a 6-year stay in Spain and has since settled at Moors FC, where he has been reunited with some of his childhood teammates.
It's amazing, It's a good reunion, From back then when I was playing with them in the junior league, and now in this top flight football in Zimbabwe, it feels good, feels good, feels great. Yeah, I would say that, because this is my first time, my first goal at Moors and my first goal in PSL. So I think for me, it's a good beginning,
The midfielder has since set his sights on helping the side achieve their targets and is delighted by the love that has been shown by most fans.
I'm looking forward to complete the objective. This team was on top of the league first half of the season, and for me, what I'm trying to do, we're just trying to push, to finish at the top of the season and with the league, which is not easy, but we are going through it. It feels amazing. It motivates me, to work hard, to push hard, and to try and win the games, because the fans, all they want is results, So for me, it motivates me to work hard and to try and get the results.
After having settled in well at Moors FC, Moffat hopes that you keep on working hard so that he fulfills his childhood dream of donning the national team colours.
To be honest, I don't know about that, because whoever selects the players is the one who comes and watch the games, and if he sees what he wants to include in his national team, then for me, I wouldn't mind to play for the national team, but I hope so. As a player, obviously everyone wants to play for the national team, so I hope one day I'll make it there.
Moffat will be expected to play a key role at Moors as they aim for a decent finish in their first day in the top flight. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I am Tawanda Mtali.
And up next for Moors, they travel to Rufaro on Saturday for a date with struggling Dynamos. But still on football, Highlanders head into match day 24 of the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League, struggling with inconsistent results and a marked drop from contention in the title race. Instead of chasing glory, Boso now face the threat of being pulled into a survival scrap with just 10 games to go before the season ends. Tinashe Mkono gives us more in the following report.
Highlanders will head into match day 24 on the back of a concerning run of form that has seen them collect one win out of their last 7 league matches. A date against a fired-up Ngezi Platinum Stars side does little to ease the club's worries, despite holding home advantage in the upcoming clash. Defeat to old rivals, Cape United, in their last outing means that Highlanders run the risk of being sucked into a fierce battle for survival, hovering just 4 points above the relegation spots. Despite the headlines and fan frustrations, interim coach Try Ncube is trying to remain positive.
We continue working very hard. We continue trying some combinations here and there, especially attacking combinations where we have been found wanting. Creating chances, we are there, but the conversion rate is so poor at the moment. But we're hopeful that this weekend things will go right.
Ncube also has to contend with a depleted squad due to injuries and the departure of young sensation Mafias Chiweta to Scotland. Playmaker Makino Nshore has also left for Simba Bora on loan, leaving a hole in the midfield, but the coach is backing the remaining squad to step up in this defining period.
It's an even playing ground. These days, form does not count, and we are playing at home. We are Highlanders. We know what we have to do, and definitely we are going to do what we have to do, and that is fight for the page and get a favourable result.
The one constant in Boso's season has been the unwavering support from the terraces, even in the face of disappointing results, and the coach is desperate to repay the fans' loyalty with victory.
It's our team, it's their team. They never leave us behind. They always come and fill up the stadium so that we can manage to have that 12th man on the pitch, and that is our supporters. We really need them to come in numbers and support the boys.
Speculation continues to fly concerning the club's next substantive coach, but for now, Ncube knows that he has to keep the ship afloat as the 2025 season enters the home stretch.
Now, Morocco suffered a bitter 3-2 loss against record champions Nigeria in the final of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, WAFCON, in Rabat on Saturday. And despite the disappointment, the Atlas Lionesses have already shown their determination to win the WAFCON next year, which is also going to be held in Morocco. Now, the Atlas Lionesses could not win in the title of their first appearance in the final. However, they will have the chance to claim it on home soil again in the next year's edition, which will be the third consecutive time Morocco hosts the tournament.
I'm not really sure. Like, I know first half we came in really strong. We were playing our football. We were dominating the game. Second half, I think there's a lot of things we need to learn. We need to learn how to manage a game, how to manage ourselves, and well, honestly, we are very gutted. But yeah, I'm very proud of all of the girls. I'm very proud of this team. I mean, getting here is already really hard, and we have to be proud of that.
And that brings us to the end of tonight's bulletin. My name is Wazanai Sansole. Good night and thank you.